but like the overall corporate.
That's fair. I think that's fair. To me, it's just like they have always represented, and okay, I'll backtrack a bit to say that like Nintendo is still the king of couch co-op. Nintendo is still the king. They still get how fun it is to sit in the same room and play a video game with somebody, right? Like, the one saving grace of that stupid fucking system that was Wii U, that was a worthless piece of shit, was Nintendo Land. Nintendo Land was a blast to play, to get everybody together and play, like, Mario Run and stuff like that.
Sentence.
But it's true. And so you know, like, they are still putting all their eggs in that basket of like couch co-op and that single player experience, and they're really good at it. But like, if you're going to come out with a game like Splatoon 2, like, come out with a service that's going to support competitive multiplayer. That's what they're trying to position that game as, is competitive multiplayer. Mm-hmm. So like, give people the tools to enjoy it as such, which they're not doing right now. You know what I mean? So, anyways,
I think it's insane.
Also, Salmon Run, which is like their horde mode, is only available every other day.
Every other day. It was only available for 12 hours at a time every 2 days, and now we're up to 24 hours every 2 days.
Why?
It makes no sense.
What the fuck? Is it running off of like one guy, like Miyamoto's server?
Here's my thoughts. I'm not defending them because I like that mode. I'm sad it is only offered those times. But I think they were just trying to make it more special, and I think they were afraid that everybody would flock to that or flock to the main game, and then there wouldn't be like enough matchmaking in one or the other.
So piss the entire world off because they're worried about a few people that will play that one mode and walk away.
I don't know.
That is true.
Like I said.
And to some extent, like, we have to remember that Nintendo is a Japanese company that is offering their software to the U.S., and so we're used to companies catering to us, right, in the U.S. I don't want to get too deep into this. We're used to companies, like, catering to us and, like, our needs and, like, what we want, but, like, now, obviously, Nintendo's not having any problems in Japan selling and moving consoles, or even here, for Christ's sake.
They can't, make enough of them.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like, you know, I mean, like, Xbox doesn't perform super well over in Japan because it is such a westernized approach to gaming of shooters and, you know, bro action games. So it's like, you know, I mean,
there is a certain level of ignorance to it from our end. I'm sure there is. Like, they're like the way they have the communication. Maybe it's like, hey, in their country, it's a safety thing. They're doing it for safety reasons. They don't want you to speak to strangers. Maybe that's going on, and there's a little bit of ignorance to us. However, there's some really crazy, stupid shit like that. Like, I can't even think of a justification for some of it. Like, it doesn't make sense why you can't play that all the time.
Yeah.
There's no reason to.
There was a really funny, what was it? It wasn't this past E3, the E3 before that, where they announced all the games people wanted, but with some kind of twist that made it terrible. Like, oh, hey, here's a new Animal Crossing game. Oh, but it's a board game thing like Mario Party, and it sucks. And like, here's a new Metroid game. Oh, but it doesn't have Samus, and it's not like
when you pay $60 or $64 for a game, and there's a certain aspect that's really fun that you can only play every once in a while. You're like, I paid $64 for that full game, and you're allowing me to only play 90% of it. 10% I can only play some of the times if I'm free. I shouldn't have to pay $64 fucking dollars for that.
yeah, what if I'm doing something the night that, like, Salmon Run is available and I can't make it?
Or your buddies are coming over and they can only come over on a certain day and you want to show them that or play with them with that, but you can't because it's not being available.
Are they missing out on a sale because of that? Because you're about to be their foot soldier.
Like, for the first week, I couldn't even play it because I was at work every time it was offered. Now it's better, but... Then I can. Anyway, we got kind of on a tangent.
Yeah,
there.
so I want to move on to our topics because it sounds like our first topic is going to be covered by Wyatt. So, just a quick sort of precursor before we get into it. I do want to acknowledge our email from Ryan from DC, and Ryan from DC writes to. Hold on, I had the email.
You were gonna try. This is regarding our last.
Ryan from DC writes in, and he says. Hey guys, first time listening to your regular pod and 3 thoughts. And this is his first thought is relating to our topic. I think it was last week, it was last week about AI taking over the world. And he says, Facebook, Google, and Tesla are taking over our world, so we should get used to our tech AI overlords now. Also, he writes in and says, tell your comic friend he needs to read I think he's talking about me. I'm the comic guy. Tell your comic friend he needs to read Planet Hulk to prep for Thor Ragnarok. And yes, Ryan, I do need to read Planet Hulk before that because I know that was a big theory for a long time that the standalone Hulk movie was going to be Planet Hulk, but it looks like they're weaving in some of those themes into Thor Ragnarok this time around, which looks like a fucking cool movie. Still looks like a fucking cool movie. And then he says, finally, in reference to our Wyatt's topic of last week of where would you put 3 dicks, he said, finally, one penis goes on top of the head, kind of above each eye to mimic antenna and give an arousal barometer. If everyone, and then when Wyatt asked, how would that change the world? He says, and if everyone's got them showing, then showing them off isn't a faux pas, and they'd never cover the eyes because they aren't long enough. And then he says, or is that just me speaking from personal experience? Wow, that's fantastic.
I've initiated some strong thought. You guys all criticized me on my topic, and we got an email.
Real deep stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I think actually a friend from work listened to our podcast and said that on her way home from work she felt like she needed to take a shower.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't disagree. So, Ryan from DC, thank you for reaching out. I will be reaching out to you separately to ask what your console or system is of choice so that we might send you a digital download chosen, handpicked by the gang here on the Hold On To Your Butts crew. Remember that you can reach out to the Hold On To Your Butts crew, just like Ryan did, at geeks, that's GEEKS, at HOTYB.co, and give us reactions to the show. If you want to chime in on some of the topics that we discuss each week or suggest a topic yourself, you're welcome to do that. Again, at geeks, GEEKS, at HOTYB.co. Don't forget to subscribe to us on Stitcher, YouTube, SoundCloud, however you listen to your podcast. It would mean a fuck ton to us if you would just leave a review, like it, share it with your friends. That would be fantastic. Share it with your friends in Russia, if you want. Russia, and then also we're on Twitter now. There's no graphics or anything like that, but if you want to be among the first people to tweet at us, that'd be cool. We are at HOTYB_show. So with that, we will move on to the topics portion of tonight's show. We've only got 3 of us, so there's only going to be 3 topics. And it looks like we teased Wyatt's topic from earlier, so I will punt it over to Wyatt to kick us off on topics.
So my topic is, if you had 3 vaginas, where would you put them?
God. No.
Right over those dicks.
Right on top of those dicks.
I'm sorry.
All right. So I was going to cover this last week, but then Brogan really wanted to talk about the 3 dicks topic, so I changed it. The reason I want to talk about this is right now, going on at this very moment, actually, like if you turn on Twitch at this moment, the Dota International is happening. The Dota 2 International Pro League is going on. It happens every year in Seattle. Throughout the year, they also have what they call majors, and that happens throughout. So they had the Boston Major last year, which is really cool because I could watch it in the East Coast time zone. But I kind of want to talk about professional esports. From my understanding, a lot of people who don't play video games or don't pay attention to esports don't really know how big it is compared to like back in the 90s when people just went to internet cafes in Europe. And just kind of played amongst their friends and won $50. Brogan won. No, you got second place in a tournament.
Thanks for reminding me.
Madden tournament.
Rub salt in the wound.
NCAA.
NCAA. R.I.P. Right?
Don't even get to that. That's a topic. That's a topic for a different day. Actually.
Yeah. So I want to talk about Dota 2. So I got some statistics. I want to run some numbers by you, and then I know that neither of you guys really get into esports. But I love esports. I like Dota 2. I like Overwatch. I like to watch Counter-Strike, which came to Columbus last year, which my friend Anthony went and said it was a blast. Not a big League of Legends fan, but they're coming out with the PlayerUnknown's Battlefield Pro Team, which actually happens.
Battlegrounds.
They're actually happening at the end of this month is the qualifiers to play in that. But I'm going to throw you out some numbers. So the Dota 2 tournament in TI that's happening last week and this week, which is the same format of the World Cup, where you have group stage and then a tournament. The prize pool is $23.3 million. The winning team makes $10.1 million. And it's required in esports rule that at least 50% of those winnings go to the actual players. Though 5 people play, they're each making a minimum $1 million if they win.
Okay, some questions about that. A, where does that money come from?
Good question. And that's where the brilliance is. And so for Dota 2, what they do is they have something called a compendium. So I play Dota 2. It's free to play. You don't actually need to pay any money to play Dota. It's free to play. You just have to download it. But there's certain things that you could pay for what they call compendium, and you can earn skins. It's kind of like an achievement thing, like you have an Xbox and PlayStation, where if you do this, you get achievement points, which will up your rank, and you can get skins and stuff. That costs $5. So anybody that buys the compendium adds money to the prize pool.
Okay.
Right? And then you can also buy things within it. It's just skins or sounds or something like that, but you don't have to participate at all. I buy it because it just makes it a little fun to have these little achievements.
And you want to support the game.
Yeah, and I want to support it. So every year, so last year I think it was 16 million or 18 million was how much the prize pool was last year. So that's where this money's coming from.
It's literally all coming from that?
No, I mean Valve chucks up some money, ESports
okay.
chucks up some money, but a good chunk of it. And they have, when you play Dota, it'll have the dollar amount. And you'll see it go up as people buy the compendium and put money into the compendium.
That's crazy.
So it's cool. It's like you get to participate in how much that you enjoy. Like if you enjoy this game, you get to participate in how much people could win.
Yeah. And then, wait, second question really quick about what you had said before. So you said at least half has to go to the players. Who else would the money go to? Do they have
potentially
coaches or?
No, so they have houses.
Okay.
So just think of it as like a manager so half the money goes to the, like in an NBA, half the money goes to the Raptors, the rest of the money go to the players.
Yeah, let me I was just going to use the sports analogy actually to explain it. It's like if you go to like a Green Bay Packers game. You know, I'm a big Packers fan. You go to the Green Bay Packers game, you spend, let's say, face value on a ticket. You spend $200 on a ticket. You know, that's a lot of money, but whatever, you spend $200. Now, part of that money goes towards funding the organization and paying the players directly. Some of those huge funds, obviously, that get directed towards NFL players. And some of it goes to the upkeep of the stadium. Some of it goes towards the uniforms that the players wear. Some of it goes towards, you know, concessions and stuff like that. So, you know, it's split up, but ultimately it's probably a similar split for professional athletes that they get 50% of the gate or whatever that is, right? So.
The way it works is like, so there's different houses. So like Team Liquid is one, Team Navi, Team Cloud9. There's a bunch of them. And so I'll take Team Liquid, for example. That house has a Dota 2 team, but they also have a Counter-Strike team. They also have a Overwatch team and so on and so on. StarCraft, which is individual. And so you sign up for them. They'll pay you a salary, which is anywhere from $35,000 a year to $100,000 a year, depending on how good you are. But then they get most of their money.
It's insane.
They get most. Then the players get most of their money through streaming, through sponsorships, and then through their winnings. And then they get a minimum of 50%. Now, most of the larger teams or larger houses will give more of that money to them, depending on how their organization is ran. So I do want to talk about some of the other winnings, like Counter-Strike. There's a tournament at the end of this month that pays out $250,000. Overwatch is at the beginning of November. They pay out $300,000. And then League of Legends is $2.13 million for the winnings team, for the teams that win.
Well, can we just take a second? That's incredible how much the difference between those are versus what Dota is.
Yeah.
Like, is that really like...
So Dota 2 has been given, is currently ranked number one with giving out the most winnings to the teams in the history of the game, which is crazy because StarCraft and StarCraft 2 have been around since the 90s and professionally throughout Korea and the United States and throughout the world. So that's been around for a minimum of almost 20 years professionally, and they still have not given out more money in the time span than Dota has in 4 years or 5 years. So the industry, esports industry, brings in $300 million a year. Now, that sounds like a lot, but compared it to football, which is, $30 billion a year. So, I mean, you can see where the difference is, but I think that's just really cool. So 148 million enthusiasts watch it throughout the world. So right now I was watching 400,000 people were watching the Dota 2 throughout the United States and Russia. Those are just those two countries, 400,000 people watching.
Russian.
Yeah,
Russia.
Right? Then 144 million occasional viewers that will just watch it willy-nilly because they enjoy the video game. But so I take that about $500 million in revenue a year, and it's 70% like clockwork every year that it increases. So that's 70% revenue that they've increased. So, but yeah, so just to kind of compare it to like regular sports, so I really really enjoy it. And I guess the cool thing about it is it's a sport like football is the most important or the biggest sport in the United States.
In the world, in terms of revenue, it's still... I think it's still beating the Premier League. Am I being ignorant?
Okay, so I guess I took that back. So $30 billion in soccer in Europe is generated. So not 30 billion for football,